Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA, and today we are digging into a legend, the last year of the Tri-5. This is a 57 Chevy Bel Air. First thing you notice is just stunning. This car at every turn is beautiful. It went through a full restoration about 10 years ago, and everything on this car is just perfect. I love this era. I think it's such a different time in automotive design, very decorative. At this time, Chevy was directly gunning for the more expensive Cadillac, so they wanted to make it more ornamental, more decorative. And you know, one of the things that always blows me away on the Bel Air is how they managed to mix whatever paint color they've used with chrome trim everywhere, but then they also mix gold in. I think a complete no-no in today's world, but it's so perfect for the time of this car. This one features a 283. At the time, you had options of either a 265 or a 283. This is the 283 with a 2-barrel. An option was a 4-barrel at the time. I don't know exactly which setup this is, so it's either 250 horsepower or 283 horsepower. Which, if you think about it, at the time, that was a big deal to have a 283 cubic inch motor with 283 horsepower, 1 horsepower per cubic inch, which is comical in today's world. Now, I think it's cool what the owner did with this car. He wanted to keep it looking like a stock original car. He wasn't into making this one a hot rod, but he did do some really cool safety upgrade things, as he calls it on here, and some luxury items. All done by Bodie Stroud, very well-known builder. So what are some of the upgrade items he did here? Well, obviously not a stock battery, yellow top, right? But I love that he went from a generator over to an alternator, even though the alternator still looks like a generator. Generates more power back to the battery. Definitely not factory AC, but why not? Why not be a little more comfortable on here, right? The other thing he did on this car, not that you can see it because the hubcaps cover everything, but he went 4-wheel disc brakes all around on the car. Again, a nice safety upgrade. He went from the 3-speed automatic transmission up to a turbo 700, so now it's got an overdrive gear. The other thing I like is on the interior, you know, they've got the massive steering wheels in these cars, right? Back then it was like a friggin' bus wheel on these. Very difficult to get into if you're anything over about 5'2". It's not that bad actually, but for a bigger guy, he went to a tilt wheel on here, which is just a great little touch. You know, it's simple. It doesn't really kill the originality of it. Unless you're a hardcore, like you want numbers matching perfection, this isn't that car. But if you want a car that acts overall like an original car, but has a few upgrades to just make it a much more enjoyable drive, I think they just did fantastic things in here. The other thing he did is the stereo in here looks like it's a completely stock, all original stereo. It's not. It's got Bluetooth in here. There's a microphone up here. The owner of this car turned it into something that he could comfortably drive, enjoy, all while looking like he's driving an all original stock 57 Bel Air. But I love how ornamental these are, how decorative. And this is a cool thing we just noticed today. I've never noticed this before. This chrome piece, when you close the door, folds down. It's things like this back in this time of automotive design. There was so much thought put into the ornamental, the design, the physical look of things, to go through the extra hassle of what this takes to put in here. I mean, the truth is, you don't need it because you're all chrome trimmed here anyways, but that's just simply a cool touch on this thing. I absolutely love it. Here's another thing that I think's fascinating about the Tri-5 era of car, which for any of you wondering, what's Tri-5, right? I've heard that one 1,000,001 times and then finally figured it out. It's the era of the 3 years, 55, 56, 57, the Tri-5. But this one's fascinating to me. You look around, you go, okay, I need to put gas in this car, but where's the filler cap at? That's where the filler cap's at. Again, it's this kind of thought that went into this era of design that was so much about the physical look of the car. I mean, this thing's just spectacular with the big tail fins. Again, kind of going out directly after Cadillac in that era for considerably less money at the time. Oh yeah, so for any of you like under, God, I don't know, 40 years old, you probably don't even know what the hell a drive-in is. This would be like an ultimate drive-in car. You know, you pay for one person driving the car in, you got 8 of your buddies packed back here in the trunk, you get in for free. This is awesome. This is perfect. But it's pretty funny, right? I mean, you think about how massive this is. I mean, you got room for a spare tire in here, and honestly, you could put luggage in here, sets of golf clubs. I mean, you got a lot of room in this trunk. Here's another mild add-on he did, putting a fan up front here again to keep the car running cool. So, you know, he likes to drive this car, the owner of this vehicle. And by the way, at this point, he's ready to sell it. He's moved on from this one. He's had it for a number of years and he rarely drives it anymore. He told me he's had his fun with it and it's time for somebody else to enjoy the car. So any of you that are interested, feel free to send me an email and we can talk through what he's expecting to get for this car price-wise. But even the fitment, dude, you look at the, I mean, that's clean. This is such a well done restoration, you know. It's such a, just overall a beautiful car. All the crazy decorative stuff too, like this on the hood, that it really serves no function whatsoever other than being decorative. So I'm curious because this car has been stored at my shop for, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, something like that now. The only thing I've ever done was started it and checked tire pressures on it and made sure it was hooked up to a trickle so the battery doesn't go dead. I'm finally gonna go drive this car, so let's get in and go for a cruise. By the way, I'm gonna bring my stepson, Riley, with me. He feels like going for a drive today with me, so you guys are gonna have to put up with a 12-year-old. This is a total showstopper car. If we pulled into Bob's Big Boy or like a Cars and Coffee on a Sunday morning, people would trip out on this car. I didn't know the name for the color of this paint, so we thought we'd dig in and look into what's the name of it. This is called Tropical Turquoise. And the cream color you see on the roof is India Ivory. We were a little curious looking at the paint chips, because there's one called Larkspur Blue that looks similar to this, but when you see the two next to each other, it's considerably lighter than this. So we've got Tropical Turquoise paint is the color.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, Paul. Hey.
That's called our roller shots. Pretend like they're not there.
Okay.
Yeah. Ah, the young Padawan will learn. All right, let's hit it. Here we go. Feel the power of that 283. Woo, woo.
It's so exhilarating.
You know, it's funny to think about it though. Back in this time, this was a fairly powerful motor. This was the beginning of Chevy's era of the small block V8. So I know you probably don't know what the difference is, but there's disc brakes and then there's the old school. This car would have had drum brakes on it, which don't work near as well as discs, but this car has 4-wheel disc brakes all around, so it stops really good. I mean, you barely have to push on the pedal and you can feel that you've got good braking power. The car drives really nice. You think about it, dude. This car is from 1957, man. Right? I mean, this is an old dog. So what's your favorite part about this car?
The seats.
Because they're so bouncy and comfy and stuff?
Because they're comfortable. The only thing that I really like about this car is how smooth everything is.
Everything's smooth on
Everything
it, right?
feels smooth in this car.
It's a big sucker, isn't it?
It takes, like even the seats feel smooth. When you go faster, it feels smooth.
Everything.
Like
the power
turn.
steering is super easy on this.
Everything is just nice.
This is like a luxury cruiser, man. You mimicking my driving, man?
No.
All right, you guys, that's it for our shoot of this extraordinarily just beautiful 57 Bel Air. Truly a beautiful car, and this is not my era of car. This is not my thing. I like cars that go fast and smoke tires and handle, and you know, man, I'm a go fast guy. And I truly think this is just a beautiful car. I understand why the legend is still as strong as it ever was in these. I'm just stoked that we finally got to shoot a true, beautiful Tri-5 era car. So, hope you guys had fun in this. Thanks for hanging and watching and supporting what we do. I truly do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next episode. All right, man. Later.